Hey guys, it's Rocker here again with another basic rotation guide. This time we're going to talk about the power Deadeye. Now the power Deadeye is kinda rumored to be one of the easiest classes, right? The Deadeye has this stigma that it's one of the easiest to play classes because your rotation largely centers around your auto attacks. You don't have like on Dragon Hunter rotation where you use a lot of different skills and you try to order them in the most perfect way. It's rather that you have auto attacks and you have a number of things that will amplify your auto attacks, right? And some special auto attacks, so it's mostly like, it's not very flashy really. It's mostly you doing this, and then using a signet and using playing with stealth to amplify these, right? That kind of gave it the stigma of being one of the easiest classes to play, yet it is also a fact that usually if you walk into a pug run, you very often see Deadeyes not performing all that well on the general scale of DPS, and that's because these little adjustments to your auto attacks are actually fairly important on this, and a lot of people don't really invest the time to check out what exactly that is and how exactly you should play this class, right? A lot of people think this is mainly an auto attack bot, and then you kind of just don't bother and just auto attack, and you're probably going to do like okay with this. Even just only auto attacking, you'll do like an okay-ish amount of damage, but it's going to be about like half or 2/3 of what you would do if you do it right, okay? So what's special about this class, other than that it does most of its attacks through the power of auto attacks? If you look closely, you're going to see, as I hover over my auto attack, there's a ton of skills popping up for some reason, and that's because your auto attack is actually very versatile. First of all, you have 3 auto attacks. You have an auto attack chain, and this is important on pretty much every power class, but it's even more important on this one, and you're going to see in a bit. As always, the third auto attack chain hit deals increased damage. Now what else do we have? We have a backstab and we have malicious backstab. Basically, what we have to look at is the malicious backstab. It's a stealth attack. So what this means is that if you attack from stealth, your auto attack turns into a stealth attack, the malicious backstab. And that one will deal a lot more damage, and it will also deal more damage when you attack from behind, right? Very much in theme with what you would think a thief would do, right? If you stab somebody in the back out of stealth, you're going to deal greatly increased damage. And just looking at these numbers real quick, the back damage there, that's quite a lot more than the average auto attack does, right? So this makes for some insane crits. So you want to proc this as often as you can. But Rocker, how do I go stealth in the middle of a fight? Well, that's quite easy. You have this 5 skill here, and using this will actually give you 3 seconds of stealth. So there we go. The first trick is stealth yourself during the fight to gain access to malicious backstab. And then the rotation really becomes all about how to use this the most efficiently, because what will happen as soon as you stealth up and backstab somebody, you're going to get the reveal effect, okay? And I'm going to quickly summon a golem to show that to you guys, okay? I'm just going to, like, random golem, doesn't really matter, doesn't need any condies. Let's just spawn this. So see, as I auto attack this guy, you're going to see the auto attack icon change as I go through my auto attack chain. So the first one, the second one, and the third one. Now, if I stealth up with my 5 skill, wait, let's make that I hit that. Come on. Okay, see, if I hit that, I go stealth, and now my auto attack went changed. My auto attack chain is now replaced with malicious backstab. And once I use this on an enemy, I get this debuff revealed. And that means for 3 seconds you can't stealth up anymore, okay? So if I just use this and I try to immediately use it again, it will not work because you have the reveal debuff and it will not stealth you, it will not proc the malicious backstab, and you will waste your initiative because this skill does cost initiative, which is your class-specific resource for using attacks, right? So what you have to do is you have to time your cloaks and dagger. This is your dagger 5 skill. You have to time these with the uptime of your reveal debuff, basically, to make sure as soon as the debuff runs out that you use cloak and dagger again to get another auto attack chain off. And now to demonstrate this properly of what to look out for, and this is really we're basically I think we're 70% of the way there if you just understand and do this, basically. I'm just going to give myself quickness real quick because that one's vital for this to work. Basically, how you can keep track of this is just if you do 2 auto attack chains. And so you kind of have to keep track, and that's why I said the auto attack chains are so important for this, because you can use your auto attack chains to keep track of your reveal buff, and you don't always have to look at this, but you'll have to look at your auto attacks, with which might be a little bit easier for you. It's good for your DPS because it's gonna make sure that you always finish your auto attack chains, right? So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cloak and dagger, stealth, maliciously backstab, and then I'm going to do 3 auto attack chains. Now, what do I do to keep track of my auto attack chains? Keep a close eye on the auto attack chains. The 3rd attack is the one with the red flower thing around it, okay? I'm basically just looking for the red flower thing. And then shortly, I tend to, just for safety, because you can actually cloak and dagger like a tad too early, and then you're going to mess up your damage a bit. You can do 1 more auto attack, so basically wait for the red icon to pop up twice, do 1 more little auto attack, and then just use cloak and dagger. So I wait for the red one to appear, I use cloak and dagger, I hit 1 auto attack chain, 2 auto attack chain, and I do it again. 1 auto attack chain, 2 auto attack chains, and cloak and dagger again. 2 auto attack chains, cloak and dagger again. Just doing this, you now have your rhythm for backstabbing. There we go. That's half the deal, honestly. That's already half the deal. Now, what else do we do? Remember, maybe you watched the Dragon Hunter video. You might remember that there's one very important aspect to all power classes, and that is burst. Every power class has some kind of time frame in which it bursts really hard, okay? In which it increases its DPS by a lot and does a lot of burst damage. For you on Deadeye, that is your Assassin's Signet. This is a signet that will passively give you power, but if you activate it, it actually gives you a lot more power. The passive power increase of this is 180. The active power increase, however, is 540. So, this lasts for 5 seconds. I'm just going to spoiler you. That's exactly the time it needs you to maliciously backstab somebody, to cloak and dagger, malicious backstab, 2 auto attacks, chains, cloak and dagger, and backstab again. So what you try to do is you try to use your Assassin's Signet, backstab, 2 auto attack chains, and backstab again. You want to fit 2 backstabs into this. Okay, and that's half the deal. You could basically stop there. You could just do this, just cloak and dagger, 2 auto attack chains, cloak and dagger all the time, and make sure to use a Assassin's Signet right at the second where you use a cloak and dagger. You have to kind of keep an eye on your initiative to make sure that you won't run out of initiative before you proc your second cloak and dagger to fit into your Assassin's Signet. But other than that, there's really nothing more to it. It's just, and that's why it is a fairly simple rotation, but you're going to have to keep an eye on your skill bar, because you're going to have to look at your auto attack chains to keep track of the whole thing, right? That's I guess what makes it a little bit complicated, is you actually have to pay a lot of attention to your skill bar. And that really is pretty much it. Other things to mention, this is everything you really have to care about in your rotation. You have to, of course, mark your target, and you have to throw your shadow flares at this guy. Shadow flare is basically just the utility skill. You throw it, it pulses a bunch of damage with these pulses. Now, you can quickly look at the cooldowns of this. Shadow Flare's cooldown is 30 seconds, Assassin's Signet is 20 seconds. You try to overlap these as much as you can. Just from looking at the cooldowns, you can see that every 3rd Shadow Flare will actually overlap with your Assassin's Signet. So on your 3rd Shadow Flare, try to use it when you use your assassin signet as well. Okay, so what have we, to sum it up real quick, what do? We try to maliciously backstab the enemy to play around the stealth aspect of the class. Try to stealth off cooldown, and try to not use this while you're, while the reveal buff is still up, because after you attack out of stealth you become revealed. To keep track of when you're revealed, just use your auto attack chains to keep track of the revealed buff. 2 auto attack chains and maybe another auto attack, and the reveal buff will be gone, and you'll be able to use another cloak and dagger. Try to line up your backstabs with assassin signet. Assassin signet lasts long enough for you to fit in 2 malicious backstabs. And then the last thing is keep track of your initiative to make sure that whenever you whenever you're about to use assassin signet, that you have enough initiative to actually use cloak and dagger twice. And this will require you to practice the rotation a bit. It's basically like you have to know how fast this refills. This will refill while you fight, right? But it won't refill quick enough to just spam cloak and dagger indefinitely, right? So let's do a quick rotation and show you what I was talking about. And I'm trying to make this video a little bit shorter than my other videos, because a lot of people gave me the feedback that those were a little bit too long, and I totally understand that. I hope that this doesn't make me rush things too much, and well, if you have questions you can always just ask me in the comments, right? Now keep in mind, what I'm doing here is hyper unrealistic, okay? This is the most unrealistic rotation I do, okay? The numbers here are way too high, because not only does, you'll notice I've barely talked about traits here, right? You have a lot of modifiers on this. One of them is actually, by the way, as you are revealed, you actually get more power, so that actually fills that downtime for you, making your unstealth auto attacks strong as well. Also, you actually have a modifier that for every condition on the target you do more damage, and also for every boon that you have. So by giving myself all the boons and giving the target all the conditions, I blow up my DPS way too much, right? So this is super unrealistic. Don't think this is representative or anything. Do go to snowcrows.com or any other build site that shows benchmarks. They will use realistic boons and debuffs for this. This is very, very unrealistic and really only to be used for practicing purposes. Disclaimer, over. Now for Elite, I'm just going to run Thieves Guild. If you need a lot of CC, you use Basilisk Venom, for example on Slothosaur, Samurok. Any boss where you really need some more CC, even Gorzaval, etc., use the Basilisk Venom as soon as you need CC, right? This is, Thieves Guild is just, if you don't need any utility, you get more DPS out of this. Oh, and Infiltrate and Signet, you just use this because it regenerates your initiative faster, so you get more backstabs in. Okay, so you're going to see, I'm going to start with Thieves Guild, I'm going to mark the target, and then I'm going to throw the Shadow Flare, use my Assassin Signet, and I'm going to Cloak and Dagger for the first time. I'm going to backstab, I'm going to do 2 auto attack chains. Just use your F2 skill, just try to fit in your F2 skills. I like to use my F2 skills after the first auto attack chain after my backstab, and then do another auto attack chain, because that makes, because of the cast time of the F2, usually that makes sure that I'll be out of the revealed debuff. But you can kind of fit that in however you like, it's really not that important. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So Thieves Guild, I'm going to mark, Shadow Flare, backstab with the Signet, 1 auto attack chain, 2, and backstab again, 1 chain, 2 chain, backstab, 1 chain, 2 chains, backstab, 1 chain, 2 chains. I'm going to do 3 here to line it up with the Signet, backstab, 1 chain, 2 chains, Signet, and so on. And it really just continues from there. So it's really not all that complicated, is it? But still, as I said, I see a lot of people get this wrong. There's just a few things you have to look out for, and you'll do just fine, right? The main thing being to make sure to always get 2 backstabs in with your Signet, and to make sure to always do as many backstabs as you can. And really, I don't even think I need to show a full rotation of this. There's one little thing you can do towards the end of the rotation. If the target is below 25%, you can spam Heartseeker towards the very end. Make sure to not prioritize this too much over the cloak and dagger. I don't think you actually you never really see this in an actual raid scenario. There's like one speed kill that I saw that does this, so it's really not something that you have to break a leg for, but you can do this. Keep this in mind. After 25% your Heart Seeker does become very, very strong, and if you have the initiative to spend due to like a boss's face time or something, you can use this on the very end, right? You'll usually, like the golem rotation, you'll see like uses this one for like the last 5% just to burn through some leftover initiative. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to finish this on one quick golem rotation. Again, as always, that's not going to be grinded. I'm not going to spend a long time here to show you a grinded rotation. Just kind of like with some music to, yeah, for you to like look at a rotation as you practice it. Make sure to visit snowcrows.com's guide section about this. They have great videos for this. They will always be up to date. So make sure you check them out. And yeah, have fun watching the rotation. And there we go, guys. That was it for the Deadeye rotation. I hope you understood everything. I hope everything made sense. If you have any more questions, feel free to post them in the comments. I will do another video for Daredevil as well. If you care for that, make sure to hit me up on Twitter. Maybe I have a Discord server that I'll link in the description as well, so go check those out so you don't miss any of these announcements. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure to check out my live stream on twitch.tv/easyrocker. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next guide video. Bye bye.